Get to record. Okay.
All right, it's 7:20, March 13th, Type B Economic Development Corporation Parks Board. There's a citizens forum. We don't have anybody speaking there. I think you said there was gonna be somebody online. Your agenda then is review and discuss questions related to the budget report, the financial statement for February 2023.
Well, we are trending a little ahead of what was budgeted. We've collected 61,603. As of February 28th, we had budgeted 52, so we're a little ahead. We're tracking at about 11% over our projections for the year. That seems to be holding well. Some miscellaneous expenditures this much, nothing real significant. 380 agreement payouts. Really nothing significant to report. I'll happy to take any questions you may have as soon as the city burns down or whatever's going on. You want to hear sirens? This is the building to be in. Incredible. All day. Oh, and you've got there's a payment due in probably by the next month. JBA is doing their registration stuff now. I think it may be closed other than some stragglers. So you'll see that income next few weeks. Yeah.
Any questions about the financial statement? Okay. Discuss, consider, and possible action on the meeting minutes November of 2022. Or better.
It says review and discuss. I make a motion that we accept the minute as stated for November 14th, 2022. I'll second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from November 4th or 14th, 2022? Unanimous. All right, number 3, discuss, consider, and possible action on renovation plans at the city park.
Well, I will tell you that Alice has done a tremendous amount of work on this little project. I've got some pretty decent options and a chance to do some pretty good upgrades. Just depending on how much money you want to spend.
Is Molly involved in this?
No. She's here to lend support in case you need to know how to spend the money.
I have you covered.
He will step up. Alice, you're up.
You remember several months ago, did a presentation with 4 options. Y'all approved not 900,000 and then asked to go ahead and take those out to the citizens for a survey. So number 4 is the survey results. You'll see up here which ones they chose. The first one for age up to 2 years old is the 2 structures that will come along with it. And then for 2 to 5 year olds, it's this one right here that we looked at before. I think that was the biggest thing was all the shading. I like that one. And then this one was for age 5 to 12. And keep in mind, all of these can be different colors, but these are the structures itself. Yes. And then of course it comes with the swings, the merry-go-round, and a few little options. And this would be the layout of this playground here. The toddler would be the middle section towards the back. And that's it there.
All of that right there is existing in the playground now. And that ledge there is about 16 inches of concrete footing. I don't know if under the new thing if that would come out. I know all the mulch would. But will that wall come out too?
Yeah, well, yeah, because the turf will go all the way up to it, so it'd be flat.
So
And this
they'll
is
just
with
fill it,
artificial
they'll
turf.
fill it in.
That's the splash pad.
So that right there, we would take all that mulch out of there. It would be filled back in with dirt, sand, and then put turf grass across the top of it, not mulch. And not the rubbery stuff.
And the turf can be multiple colors.
Yeah,
however you
okay.
design it. Yes,
What we voted on last, but the asphalt curves.
that's right.
No mulch.
Okay,
No,
so rest of it, I got handouts to go over it with you. There's a quote there from Noah's Park, dated 2/28/23. And this includes all the shading. So the top one is say 149,000. This includes shading, and there's a map in the back all around the park. Also shading around the splash pad for the parents and shading around the splash pad itself. That's an option. The second quote includes everything except for the shading over the splash pad. Where parents will still have shading sitting around, shading all the way around the park in different areas, shading around a toddler where the parents will be sitting, and that brings it down to 47,000.
Now, let me ask you a question. Didn't we talk about shading on some parts of that plan for that? Cover the kids?
Yes, that's right. And it's gonna be, if that's the 149,000 that y'all talked
Okay,
about. And it,
okay.
instead of one solid, it's actually two,
Okay.
and that's better. It's more protective for it. So the 149 covers all the shading we talked about previously. It's definitely an asset. Yes. And before we get to the splash pad, and you have a copy of the quote for the playground equipment. It's 612,000, includes full insulation, it includes the turf, everything goes along with it and everything you saw. And out of these quotes also includes the Frisbee golf that was discussed previously.
Well, the Frisbee golf, how is that set up? I know what it is, but like the holes.
I believe it was 8 throughout the park, and someone be put either on a pole out of the way or attached to a tree. There's different ways you can do it. Yes. Yes, and that just brings, it's just something for a different age group. Okay, now for a splash pad. Okay, if you pull out the one, it's the quote from Craftsman for 40,000. The first page just shows how it looks now. And the second page has a picture of a sun. For 40,000, they will repaint the surface, redo the surface, and put a sun in the middle. It comes with a 1-year warranty. That's just painted. Then if you go to the next quote, it's got several pages with a splash pad in front. And it's from Inside Edge. That's what it looks like. That's it right there, Dustin. Yes. Mhm. Okay, this is a different company. Those samples you have in front of you. Instead of painting, they actually place these square tiles down. These come with a 5-year warranty, a higher safety grading, slip resistant. And that'll tell you a little bit more about it. We can also do that in multiple colors. We can make square looks however you want to. And then if you go on, you want it designed, it goes up a little bit. So it's 60,000 for that. Or you go where you make it look like a pond with fish, whales, and all kinds of cute things inside of it. That goes up to 70,000.
Are these cushioned?
Mhm. Yes.
that's neat stuff.
Yeah, and these have some of the highest safety surfaces, graded on it.
5-year warranty on it.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's straight up.
Yeah, and the squares, I believe it says in there's 24 by 24. And so you can do multiple colors, you can design it multiple ways. It's really nice. Thank you. And then the last one is from Craftsman. It has 85,000 written on it. This would take out all the splash features that's in there. There's 5. Most of them has been weather warranted. It's pilling. So this would take all 5 out, and this would actually add 2 additional. And as you can see, instead of just like the straight pose, and there's a lot of design things, there's flowers, frogs, dragonflies. There's a lot of extra neat features.
Yeah, 80,000 is the one that comes with the 5-year warranty.
Yes, sir. And it was 70,000. He says he thought it was 80, it's 70,000.
80 was to replace the cheap.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to take out all the water features that's in there now for the kids, for the water come out.
Yeah.
And replace them with 7 of them, that's the 85,000. That includes, everything we have here includes full installation. So our guys won't have to do anything.
Oh, we don't have to round up people to help
No,
put stuff
this is
together.
full installation.
The only thing I would continue you guys on, I want to look more into adding implements to that splash pad. Because if they add stuff, somebody's got to plumb it somewhere, which means they got to cut it. Unless there's some trick that I don't know about, and I'm not sure that I want to get into that. That's because then you got to run lines from that box back out to it. I'm concerned that anytime we start cutting into concrete, that it worries me. Over, and it may be that it can be something that can be done with what's there. There's lots of little things that squirt up out of the ground, so that could be what they're talking about.
That's my
Add to
understanding.
those, it may well be. I just want to check that a little
Be
more.
something checking to make sure.
Yeah, I don't want anybody taking a saw to that.
And we can always reduce 2 of them and still have the same number we have out there, just different features. That's more attractive. That's my understanding. That's supposed to include full insulation, everything in there.
Yeah, we'll double check. Is that on? Is that right on? Who is that?
You can see that.
Will he know the answer to that question?
Not for the splash pad.
Oh,
He's just for the playground.
well, these are the people that put the splash pad in, right? Are they the same as the Craftsman?
Yeah, no, this is the playground equipment. Oh, there he is now.
Who's doing the splash pad?
Craftsman, the company that's
And that's who put it in.
correct.
Yeah, when we built the park. So, okay. Well, they probably know what they can do and what they can do with it.
And just kind of cover the survey we did, just for the online portion, there was 175 citizens. On this, I mean, it wasn't even close. 47% wanted the smaller, up to 2 years old for that structure you looked at. 50% wanted the 2 to 5, and almost 40% wanted the third option that was in there. And almost 59% wanted the disc golf. And of course, everybody wanted more shading. Yes,
So these prices do not include the basketball court. And they do not include the fence
that's correct.
or any other
What inch?
pole and cable fence across the front, all the keep people from driving onto it. And then also fencing the basketball court. We're gonna do that because those poor guys chase balls down in the pond all the time. We fish basketballs out
That'll
there.
keep them better for doing turn signals on the.
Yeah, keep people from driving across it. Could be.
Let me ask you a question. Couldn't we put in the cable fence? You only talk about 4 foot drilling holes and then
It's staff to do it, it'd be the only questions, and I wouldn't guarantee how it'd look. Fence builders, you know, I mean, they're just,
You hear that, guy?
Shannon, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. You asking for me? Who are you asking for?
No one unmuted, but nothing but here. That's where I can mute them.
Oh,
Okay.
so we got a lot of figures. What's the, if we went with the best of everything?
If you went with the best, it'd be almost $918,000. 970.
but that does not include the basketball court. The fencing we can live without. It wasn't, I don't remember what it was. It was. I don't remember the number.
If you're gonna protect the park, keep them from going up there cutting donuts on the basketball court.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that
The
the
fence is
the
necessary.
cable fencing I've been a fan of for years because people driving out there have done so much damage to the sprinkler system, to the trees, I mean, keeping them on the pavement is crucial,
Do it.
but I mean, it's
you're talking about on the basketball.
resurfacing it.
Got to entertain the bid on that yet? at this
We
point?
got some, they're just not included in here and they're several months old. It would need to be, probably need to get it updated,
What
but
was the figure on them?
I don't remember. I want to say it was like 40 grand to fence it and to resurface it. To redo it. Somebody got on there, did some donuts and peeled back the finish that was on it. So it's starting to peel up. Over time, it'll all just peel up. So we were gonna go back with. Strip all that off, redo it. Holes and stuff are still in. Frame is in good shape. We'd probably replace the backboards, and put up a fence to help keep, and we need to redo the lights. The lighting, I don't know we haven't been able to get that fixed. The lights come on now at 11, or I think get dark and they go off at 11 o'clock when the park shuts down. The little switch has stopped. People have jacked with it so much and now we can't even. We've put new timers on it. We've put new switch. I don't know what's my. Just an 8-foot chain link fence. They probably could even be 6 foot, get by with it, but maybe 8 across the back stops. I don't know, but I've noticed a lot of basketball courts are fenced in and but it, keeps stuff from, and when the ball starts rolling down that hill, it's gonna go all the way to the pond. And like I say, we're digging them out of there a couple a week. People losing basketballs. And that'll keep cars off of it for sure.
So we have questions, gentlemen online.
He's with Noah's Park. And I don't know if it's his system or mine, because this screen here's gone out. So it's very possible it's mine.
Can anybody hear me?
So it's most likely me. Because I can see up on the TV, but I can't see here, and this is where I control.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Absolutely. With that, or you can send them to me or tell me and I can email them to them and have them send them to us.
Hello? Anyone? Can anyone hear me?
You can give them mine.
Let's see. Message.
What,
So I can't even see it.
off the top of your head, what do you think it would cost to put refinishing it? You said about 40,000. 40,000, what would that include for the basketball?
Let me just go get the stuff.
Doing that, I think I.
Okay.
Worst.
I can't believe it might be $1,000.
Well, and here's something to think about. We have to publish in a paper that y'all considering to do a project for 60 days before we can do anything. So that's something that we can get in between before we can actually move. There we go. Do you see it, Molly? It's up on the screen. I can't see it from over here. Under the chat, is that 405 number? If you don't mind. Or you want to, if you just say the number out loud.
Hi, this is Steven.
Hey, this is Dustin. Can you hear us? Oh, good, it's on his end.
So, you take it.
So, we have a question for you. Have you been able to hear us at all? If you could turn down your speaker on your ear, won't get the feedback. Awesome. So does anybody have a question for this gentleman now that we have him on speaker here? About the Nova's, yeah. Nova's art.
Everything.
So maybe there's something you'd like to talk about.
I tell them we just remove the chips in there. That's it.
Vice President, put this.
He doesn't deal with the splash pad. He's just at park equipment.
Working. So, you tell us about the disc golf, with 8 holes, 6 holes.
Most cities, most organizations, either go with the full 9 or 18. And oftentimes with a 9 hole, you can also make an additional tee box, and then you can play the course forward and backward as well. That can be interesting with a 9 hole. They kind of give you some versatility. But lots of college campuses do 9 hole. A lot of cities do 9 hole. There's three campuses in my city along that 9 courses. It's very common and it's easily expandable. In the long run too, if you decide that it becomes a popular sport, then you can come back and add as well, because disc golf is an increasingly popular sport.
So I guess you've seen the amount of land that we have, that we're trying to do this on, the 9 holes is gonna be okay for that amount of land?
Yes, yeah. We opted for the 9 hole there. I think 18 would end up feeling a little cramped with just that area, because you've got too many people walking around in all the directions and the discs flying through the air. Yes, 9 allows it to maintain a good traffic without interrupting the standard practices of people at
On the 5 to 12-year-old shipwreck playground, is there a way to get some shade over part of that?
So the I want to say the risk is another word. So the thing about this shipwreck playground is the fact that it is so tall. Once you reach a certain height on playgrounds themselves, any attempt to put shade over it, while it looks good, it has all good intent behind it. Once the shade starts, once your entry height begins around that 15, 16 foot, which is somewhere around where we would have to be on this structure, your shade is only going to cast over your structure maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. And so because it's so high and because where we live geographically on the planet, we've got a big southern exposure with the sun itself as it crosses the sky. And so if you've got a high shade, then you're really not going to be getting the desired effect. And the higher the shade goes, the more steel, the more concrete, you're dealing with a monumentally more expensive shade structure to get over equipment that is that high.
Okay.
So monitoring, yes. But I do my best to be a good steward of my customers' resources, and the expense of it, I don't feel justified the need for the shade that goes over the top, because you're only getting a 2 or 3 hour benefit.
Fair enough. Warranty comes with this equipment.
Basically, all the different pieces of it have kind of different stages. All of your steel itself, the steel workmanship, all has 100-year warranty. The plastic are typically going to be either 5 to 10 years, depending on the style of molding that they use for the plastic. There's blow mold or rotational mold. Anything that involves motion is going to have a 1-year warranty, and our installation is warranted for a year. So if anything goes wrong based on what our installation is, our curriculum, and make sure that everything is as it should be, if anything happens to fail in that first year. But I'll be happy to supply that warranty sheet to you guys as well, so you can see every individual piece. But our warranty is comparable and on par with every other playground manufacturer in the country.
Part of the warranty. You guys actually come.
Absolutely. So if basically if there's anything that happens to show any kind of wear in a time frame that shouldn't be wearing the way it is, then we just simply run that to the manufacturer, and standing with the manufacturer is pristine, so they bend over backwards to make sure that we as a company are taking care of it as best as possible.
Anybody else questions? Merle, I know you got a question.
I do, I'm trying to figure out where the, now this is all NOAA, we're talking.
That's
NOAA,
correct.
right?
Mhm.
Where in the bid is the disc golf? I may be overlooking it, but I don't. think-
It is.
At 47,000.
Okay, I'll see it. Oh, mock eggs. Okay, that's the only question I had.
Once you have the go ahead, how long does it take to have it all installed?
So right now, manufacturer lead time for when we receive the product. And so we've been basically telling all of our customers to kind of err on the side of 12. That kind of gives us that extra 2-week buffer. So once we receive that product, then at that point, that's when we schedule the install. If we don't like to schedule the install, if we don't have the product on hand, because too many things can go wrong with transportation. And so once we have the equipment ready to go, we would end up delivering it direct to the site. There's nothing here that's going to be a couple of trucks worth of it. And so we would coordinate our install crews to be on site in the at, so there's not, so the equipment doesn't have to be shown from place to place for safekeeping. So all the equipment would arrive. And typically right now, once we have the equipment, we're installing within anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks of receiving it.
Let's see.
So we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 16, but lucky to our day without knowing what the future holds is kind of difficult. So it'll be in the neighborhood of 16 weeks.
Shut down that whole your fall.
Cause you said we gotta run it 60 days.
Yes, sir.
We could.
Before we can approve, yeah, till we can actually do anything.
Things are good this calendar year.
It includes also the ship time, so it takes 10 to 12 weeks just to come in.
Yeah.
And so that part can stay open. That's just for him to order and get all the stuff. So that's about a month.
I'd rather do it. Do play
Yes,
shading.
that's, well, he's doing the shading. Yeah, yes, correct.
Bob.
That's for everything, correct. Playground equipment, all the shading, the splash pad, that's what the top grade of splash pad, that's everything. Yes, sir. Yes,
And basketball court was 15,000 to resurface. The fence around it. That number cannot possibly be right. It shows 16,000 for the fence around it. Well, that's for a 10-foot fence. I'm not sure we need that. We might could drop that down. Post and cable fence around the park was 21,000. Then a couple of gates where we could lock up the drives for 2,500 each, but we need to double check that fencing around the, I don't think we need to go 10 foot, quite frankly.
so you're looking at probably 950,000 for everything. That's 950,000.
Don't forget about contingencies and all that, because none of this stuff ever comes in at what it's priced.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You're probably talking about another 10 or 15% just to set back in contingency. Unless you want to just cover that out of fund balance, you could. But none of this stuff comes in at the price that it's quoted. There's always a problem. I mean, in any construction project, there's that. So smart money is to add some
10%,
contingency money in case there's a problem.
But if we added, if we went.
Probably looking at $1 million tax note by the time it's all said and done.
Close to.
Well, because of basketball. Definitely. With the contingency.
You're looking at 944, if you don't add the 10%.
Thanks for 21.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we've heard on we need to make a decision for additional 100,000 to cover everything.
Yes, sir. That way we have it exactly what you're preparing to do.
Yeah. And I'll make the motion to go ahead and exceed the 900,000 to $1 million. Hopefully we can get it all done for a little less.
Second. Everybody in favor of exceeding the 900,000 up to $1 million? All in favor, raise your hand.
And just for the record here, is that for the equipment, and everything you saw here? So we know before. Okay,
Plus the baseball.
all is so I can say all is presented. Yes,
Which one of these playground is included? I mean,
all of those,
all
all of those.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
For different age groups.
Different deal.
So to make sure you understand, I know Alice has got, there's some dates and stuff, public hearings, all that kind of stuff has to happen. So I'll reach out to the bond council and have them run us some numbers on what that's going to look like. And we'll also look at conventional financing locally too. We've done that with a few things too. But I would say probably tax note would be the way to go here, depending on the interest rates. We'll check all those out and see, and we'll have that ready for you at the next meeting of what that number would look like.
And just to confirm, are y'all giving me direction to go ahead and start to publish in the 60-day clock?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Are the cameras adequate to cover the park now to where things are being?
No. But we're working on a proposal with our IT consultant to change that. That stuff is in the works. And that may be something that we just do aside of this. I don't know that we want to tie that into this longer term financing. We might want to just do that individually. And you're not talking about crazy amount of money.
Right.
What about the lighting being repaired from the court?
We'll probably have the people that put those in come out and chase that down. That too may be something. I'm not. I cannot imagine, I can't imagine that a simple on and off switch with a timer has created as much problems as that. We've had 3 different electricians look at this and nobody can seem to figure it out. So I don't know what's going on. So right now, well, I don't know. I don't know what they've done to it. The people trying to get the lights to come on after 11 o'clock have torn the thing off of the pole. I don't know how many times. So we finally put a sign up there that said, these go off at 11 o'clock. This button won't work. And they tore that off too. So, but if they stay on past 11 o'clock, the neighbors over there complain because they shine right into their houses across in that neighborhood. So we've tried to be, kind of sensitive to that. And the curfew of the park shuts down at 11 o'clock too. So,
But we don't have cameras that can identify anybody by damaging this one.
no, there's cameras that are over by, there's never been cameras at the basketball court. There will be now. But there's always been cameras around the concession stand and restrooms, but under this new plan, there'll be cameras in the playground area, restrooms, splash, everything in the park will be video.
All this stuff in on people.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. When you spend this kind of money, you have to, and we used to, when we'd catch kids out there doing stuff, send the police to the high school, they'd get a name in about 2 minutes and mom and dad got to pay for the repairs.
So yeah, warranty. Okay. So I guess I'll take care of 3.
Thank you, Shannon. If you can hear me.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care of them. All right, number 4. Discussion on hosting a Culpeper and Merriweather circuit. Look them up online.
I'm surprised Kim Henderson is not here. Kim Henderson has been hounding me about a circus for 10 years. And
We've got enough clowns.
I have
Yeah.
kicked it out several times not to even talk about it, just because of some of the elements that come with them. These guys got a pretty decent reputation from what I'm hearing. We've called and checked on them. So Kim sent me a message and I said, you know what? Let's look at it. So this is a fundraiser actually for the park board. The revenue that is generated from this, a percentage of it would come directly to the park board. They would take a percentage and the rest would come to the city as a donation to the park board. I don't know what kind of money. They've sent us the kind of the breakdown as to, it's basically done through fees that they charge to bring people in, and we would get percentage of that. And we get a bigger percentage actually than they do. I was kind of surprised by that. So, it's a weekend event, I believe, like 1 or 2 nights, and then they're out. No, I don't know if there'll be any monkeys or not, but I've caught grief from my wife over this because I got the lecture about they mistreat animals. Maybe, I don't know if they do or not. I've never been on these things, but they're in and out pretty quick. They bring their own equipment. They bring their own power source. They just need a space. They propose to put it out in the outfield of the large baseball field at the park, which I very quickly said, no, we're not. They'll tear it up. They bring in these big 18-wheelers with this stuff on it. But the park and ride is a different area down around the Y. We own that property in between the Y now, where we're looking at the museum property. That could be a possible site for them. Around the detention pond could be a possible site. There's quite a bit of room in and around there. So we have some options other than the baseball fields. If y'all are interested, we'll pursue this a little more and get a little more of the details and actually reach out to some of the cities where they have been and find out what kind of experience they've had. They can provide us a list of names Kim has been in touch with them. I don't know if she saw this somewhere or just what, but she, like I say, she's been wearing me out about this for years. So if y'all are interested in doing it, then we'll invest the time and dig into it. If you're not, then I'll call and break the news to Kim in the morning. And some of you people, Merle and Glenn, might even get a phone call from her.
It'll be on Facebook before we. get
Yeah,
ready.
she'll say the park board killed the circus on Facebook.
So a 90-minute show, 200 towns in 17 different states, 32 weeks of the year.
Yeah, the timing, once they set their schedule, will determine what part of the year they come in here, because they come in the same direction, hit several places, and so we don't know that for sure yet for their scheduling, but like I say, there's a few details to work out. We can always get that information. I have not invested a lot of time in this, not knowing if y'all had any interest or not. Because if you don't, then it stops here. Unless the chamber wants to take it on, and then it's got nothing to do with us.
I would just be concerned about the negativity or have been about circuses these days. I love circus. I think it's awesome, but
Well, the Shrine Circus is the only one I've ever been to, and it was kind of a big production, but I don't know where this fits in.
I don't think people.
What? Oh, I guess we can ask no clowns. What's a circus without a clown, man? You know, the 6 foot plus man's worried about a clown. What about Ronald? Well, you're not the only one. A lot of people have problems with clowns. I just don't like them when the sun's down. All I need is some direction. If you want me to look into this and gather more information, I will. If you don't, I'm done with it. Kids do like circuses.
It would be a good attraction.
And it's an event, and we don't have to,
We don't have to host or pay.
yes, and it brings another event to the city and something exciting to the city.
Something would be well attended. Yeah, as long as it's maybe not in the summer under a hot tent, I don't know, because I guess it depends on.
You know, I'm always thinking about sales tax, so if we it's gonna bring people to the surrounding area too. And I don't know if they'll have concessions, but it'll, especially if we have it on the museum property right now that's vacant, you're talking all the fast food that's around there.
Do they have ticket prices understood what the ticket prices are? Yeah.
No, the area out there, the detention pond. Yeah, perfect place if it wasn't wet.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they can get those trucks in and out of there. It's pretty steep. There's no way in or out of that thing.
On the backside.
They couldn't even get in it. It's got a 5 foot lip. I don't think they can drive a truck in it. But in and around it, there's plenty of room for it.
In the parking lot area.
Now, the parking now, I don't know how that tent would work, setting it up on concrete. The best bet may be that spot in between the Y and getting that mowed down. We're fixing to start. Matter of fact, I just told Chris and Dave, get a tractor out there and get that mowed and knocked down. We'll start getting that cleaned up. That could be the place for it. And they can drive right into that. So you got the Y parking, the parking ride. Sure. And we can make more parking around the detention pond. So that's probably the best place to have it. They have animals. The brochure they sent me had some animals.
They try to, they say, Yeah, repurpose,
That's the
Yeah.
right word.
So that was, you know. That's really what we're doing.
Like I say, we can dig into that. We can look at complaints that they've had. I mean, a lot of that stuff we can find. We just haven't. Like, I didn't know what kind of interest there was in it. I wasn't gonna waste the time if y'all interested in it.
You can check it out. Then break the bad news to Keith. Heard they leave poured up. Then the city had to go back in, make repairs. You know, like.
Where they see it, there might be a repair.
Where have you, where, did y'all have them in Hamilton or somewhere? I'm not crazy about them, but you know, as long as she's been giving me grief, I figured, you know what, we'll look. Well, we'll call some places they've been and look up, call some of the cities that they've been and find out what kind of issues they have with them. Well, Kim wants it so bad, she might fabricate some of the answers a little bit. So I'd rather hear them for myself. I think we're gonna see about, what do you call the person in the ringmaster? Is that, we might get her the honorary ringmaster. Put her in a cage with a tiger or something. So yeah, she likes the circus then.
You can put her on the trapeze and see that.
Yeah, see if she wants to fly. All right, well, we'll get into it.
Okay. Future agenda. Yeah. Talk about. All right.
You can't, we don't need you in tights flying around. Trapeze. Make sure you understood that.
The biggest.
It was ugly.
Meeting